Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to my Team career mode. And here we are in our My Team career mode for race 3 at Zandvoort in the Netherlands. And if you missed the previous one, the one at the Bahrain Grand Prix, please check that one out before you see this one. But now, here we are for our third race of the season, the third race for our team, Alfa Ferrari. It will be the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. There has been one production that was failed on the engine side, and we just got that one back, or got that upgrade back. And yeah, just going through the calendar, setting up some activities for the team that will improve the team, and just skipping through the calendar to the Dutch Grand Prix in Zandvoort. I really can't wait to race at that racetrack. You know, the bank corners and everything. It will be really great, and obviously it will be the home Grand Prix for our teammate Nick de Vries. Comes from the Netherlands. It will be his home Grand Prix, but before that we will have a second interview with Will Buxton.
Well, it's great to be back at your headquarters, and I've got to say, an awful lot's changed since we were last here. Let's dive in with some questions. Would it be safe to say that, in terms of team orders, your career comes first in your team? Your second driver seems to be getting much more comfortable with their car. Have you been focusing on their development? Let's talk about your new second driver. How are they settling in? Well, thanks a lot for inviting us here. It's been fantastic.
So yeah, that was the interview with Will Buxton. As I said probably many times in other episodes, I really love the detail that Codemasters had put into this game, so it makes it feel even more realistic. So great job there from Codemasters. And now we are at the race weekend. We will check our final tire allocation before we jump straight into qualifying. So here we are then in qualifying for our first lap for this 2020 Dutch Grand Prix in Zandvoort. It will be, as I said before, the home Grand Prix for our teammate Nick de Vries. So I wish him all the best. I hope he does really well. Something special driving at your home Grand Prix. Even though this is a game, actually if you drive in your home Grand Prix, it still like drives you on and motivates you even more to do a great job. But yeah, we have to concentrate on ourselves. We're currently on our first flying lap of this qualifying session in this great Zandvoort circuit. As you can see, especially the first part of the lap, I love that. And here the last corner, the bank corner, is also really great as we come across the line, and it is P8 after our first run in qualifying, but we obviously still have 2 more runs to go, and the first lap was a bit shabby, not the best. So yeah, 2 more runs to go before the end of qualifying. So here we are then for the start of our second flying lap in this qualifying session. We are currently way down in P19. Our teammate Nick de Vries is in P21. So yeah, not the best first lap for our team. But as I said, we still have 2 more laps to go. And we are currently on our second flying lap here. This bank corner is great too. And now this is the section which I think is really nice and really great to drive. I really love that section. Coming through the fast flowing corners, turning right and left, it's really great. So I love the Zandvoort circuit. But we also have to concentrate on the job we have to do at this race weekend. As we open the DRS, we gained a lot during this second lap across the line, and we are all the way up into P13 after our second flying lap. But there are still some areas where we can improve. So I'm really optimistic going to the third run of qualifying. So as I said, there's still a lot of areas to improve around the lap. We're currently down in P14 now. It was P13 after we finished that last lap, and as whoa, As you might have just saw, Antonio Giovinazzi got a huge slap of oversteer. So yeah, we come through the next corner. Hopefully Antonio Giovinazzi doesn't impede us too much. We get on the curb and we've spun round. We've hit the curb and we've spun in our third run of this qualifying session in the Netherlands. And that means qualifying is over for us. We won't have enough time to do another lap. Yeah, here you can see I just got a bit out too wide on the curb and then that just spun the car around. So that was not great. There was not enough time for another qualifying run. Lewis Hamilton secures pole position out of Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen. We are in P16, that's still fine, and now let's jump into the race. So here we are then on the grid for the Dutch Grand Prix. I'm sorry that the starting grid video wasn't shown. There's a slight problem when I filmed it. But now let's jump into the race. It is a rain hit race, but now we wait for 5 red lights. It's lights out and away we go, trying to get the power down in this rain hit Dutch Grand Prix as we get a perfect start ahead of Kevin Magnussen and Daniel Ricciardo's on our right, but we have to brake a bit earlier because Pierre Gasly hit the brakes really hard in front of us. We get a warning for a collision with Gasly, even though I didn't feel any touch. So yeah, as you can clearly see, the rain is here in this Dutch Grand Prix as we try to go round the outside of Pierre Gasly. Can we make the move sick? Yes! What a move! Around 2 cars round the outside. Obviously the bank corner helped there perfectly, but that was a great move round the outside of Pierre Gasly and Carlos Sainz, that was, I think. And we are up into P13. We again have a huge first lap, even though the first lap is still not finished. So there's still opportunities to gain some places on this first lap. But yeah, the rain is here in this race. Obviously my setup was not made for the rain, so I'm thinking this might get a bit hard towards the end of the race with tires and all that, but we'll give it our best. We're currently in P13 after a great first lap behind Daniel Ricciardo. Let's see what we can do here. He is obviously behind Roman Grosjean. He is somehow in P11. So yeah, still a lot of places that we would like to gain, but also, ooh, so this bank corner you can't go flat out because the car would just snap on you and you would just spin, I guess, probably. As we come, the first lap is finished. We are up into P30 now. We brake into turn 1, get on the power early as we get a slight hit of oversteer as we correct it to try and not spin. And now comes the favorite part of the track for me as Carlos Sainz is round our outside. We are around the outside of Daniel Ricciardo. We get a warning for the collision with the Sainz, but we get the better acceleration on Daniel Ricciardo. We see the gap down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo, but we have to back out, because that would have resulted in a huge crash. So we have to back out with that fight with Daniel Ricciardo, sadly. So now we move all the way from lap 2 to the end of lap 2, and as you can see here, out of the bank corner we get a huge slap of oversteer as I had my foot too much on the throttle pedal, as Carlos Sainz might see an opportunity around the outside, but we cover the inside and cover the move from Carlos Sainz. We are still in P13, but Carlos Sainz is pressurizing us now. Every mistake will be costly in this Grand Prix, as you just saw a slight slap of oversteer. Carlos Sainz was there, ready to get the position, snatch the position on us, but we held it, and we're still in P13. And now we move to the middle part of the lap here, and as you can see on the bottom right, our left tire at the back is cooking, literally cooking, and we get the snap of oversteer once again. And there's Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly too. Carlos Sainz doesn't have the huge speed down the straights. We cover the inside, we almost brake too late and go straight on, but we have the move covered on Carlos Sainz as we get another snap of oversteer. As I said, if you get on the power too early, you get the snaps of oversteer, and as I said too, every small mistake will be costing this Grand Prix. And there was Carlos Sainz once again after a small snap of oversteer from us, trying not to get too much onto the throttle pedal on this part of the lap as I experienced on the lap before. But Carlos Sainz is still there, but he doesn't have the huge speed advantage on us down the straights because we obviously both have the Renault engine. So yeah, he doesn't have the advantage down the straights on us, but definitely in the corners, and I have to be really careful to try and not make any mistake in this Grand Prix. So we move from the beginning of lap 4 to the end of lap 4, and as you can see, we've set 2 green sectors. So this is currently our personal best lap. As we get out really wide with this damn circuit as we try to get back to the inside, and I just think I've hit Carlos Sainz into a spin. As you saw, Carlos Sainz spun at the back, yellow flags, and the safety car is deployed. The safety car is deployed. Here, let's watch the replay. Yes, we've hit Carlos Sainz into a spin. Obviously, I was out wide, really wide out. He was in the inside. I was trying to come back to the inside. He was going to the outside, so tough one. I'm really sorry to Carlos Sainz. That was not my intention to hit him, but I think we just have to call this a racing incident. As yeah, you can see I was struggling with the car, so yeah, really sorry to Carlos Sainz, but I think this is just a racing incident. And yeah, as you saw from before, the safety car was deployed, but on lap 7, the safety car is coming back into the pits, and we are now right behind Daniel Ricciardo. We're right behind Daniel Ricciardo now, and we will try to make a move and maybe try to get past Daniel Ricciardo, and he's already going defensive to the inside. This will leave us huge room round the outside. We try to outbrake him round the outside, but he sends it to the inside of Romain Grosjean, and Romain Grosjean blocks the opportunity for us to go around the outside. We're currently just tiptoeing around behind them, looking at their fight, but now comes a corner where you can make great moves around the outside. So we're thinking for a move round the outside of Daniel Ricciardo, but he's also around the outside of Romain Grosjean, and we've both just passed Romain Grosjean round the outside. What a move by both of us to go round the outside of Romain Grosjean there. Great move by both of us. And now he's up into P11, we are up into P12, and the points are just there. The points are just 1.5 seconds away from us, and we still have 10 or 11 laps to go in this Grand Prix, so don't discount points in this Dutch crazy Grand Prix. So we move now all the way to lap 10, and as you can see, we're still really close to Daniel Ricciardo, and especially in this section of the track, we gain a lot on Daniel Ricciardo. We're losing normally at the end of the lap quite a lot to Daniel Ricciardo, but we gain the loss that we make on these parts, or at the end of the lap. We claw that back here at the beginning of the lap, but we're a bit too far away to try and make a move on Daniel Ricciardo. But we move all the way to the end of lap 12, and now it's a time where we really start to struggling with the car, with the tires. The car was moving around a lot, as you can see, trying to get on the power early, but going out way too wide. And Romain Grosjean is still there. There you can see Romain Grosjean is right behind us, but he's thankfully not gaining enough on the straights to try and make a move on us. So we keep ahead of Romain Grosjean, but the points are now slowly but steadily moving away from us as we start to struggle massively with the car. I think the tire wear is quite high now too, but you never know. It's a rain hit race, so everything can happen. Miracles always can happen. And now we move to the end of lap 16, as you can see now, we've actually set 2 personal best sectors, and we've closed back up to Daniel Ricciardo. So as I said, I kept my head down even though I was really struggling with the car, and as you can maybe see now on the bottom right, yeah, you just saw there a small shot how much tire wear we have in this race, but I kept my head down, and we've closed a bit more back up to Daniel Ricciardo in this race. But now here we are then on the last lap, and now you can really see how much I was struggling with the car there. The tire wear was really bad, really high. Here you can see almost 80% tire wear at the back left rear tire. And normally when you go to the pit stop, it's normally around 35 to 45% of tire wear. Then is when you make a pit stop and change tires. But here we are with almost 80% tire wear, and we are on the last lap, P12, and Romain Grosjean is round or outside, but we brake a bit later and defend the position, and we'll finish this crazy but great Dutch Grand Prix in P12. Actually really happy with the end result. We fought great there with the tire wear.
Many doubted whether they could pull off the win here in Zandvoort, but they have done, and done it in spectacular style. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, they clearly have a car that comes alive in the kind of conditions we were dealing with today. It's a very balanced package in the wet, and what that means is that the drivers have confidence to attack and having that confidence gets you on the power earlier, it lets you brake later, and can put you a long way up the road.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
So yeah, Lewis Hamilton wins ahead of Valtteri Bottas and Charles Leclerc. Max Verstappen in his home race, not on the podium. We end up in P12. As I said, I'm really happy with that, considering how much tire wear we had. Our teammate finishes in P21 at his home Grand Prix. Really sad. Lewis Hamilton takes over the Drivers' Championship, or the lead in the Drivers' Championship, and currently AlphaTauri, obviously Kvyat scored 2 points, which is not great for us, so they have 2 more points now than us, but obviously the season is still long, so still a long way to go. So yeah, here we are then back at our team HQ, just getting in some activities for the team. And yeah, as I said, the tire wear, I was really struggling with the tire wear and with the car at the end of the Dutch Grand Prix, but it was great how we fought, we kept in the fight. In the end, the points were only 4 something seconds away, but we have the chance to sign a new sponsor, and we've signed that with A&F, have good weekly income, and the goal is actually not that hard to get. And as you might know, you can place the sponsors on the car, and I'm just going through to show you the places we've put the sponsors, just changing the last sponsor from Equator Oil to Distote. So yeah, this new sponsor with A&T, and we go to the R&D tree now to try, or not to try, but to get a few upgrades in for the next race. But the next race is the Spanish Grand Prix, which is just 3 days in the game away. So the Spanish Grand Prix is up next, the place where we go winter testing. Obviously there's no winter testing in this game, but Spanish Grand Prix up next. Really excited for that. Really keen to know how our car will handle at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's a bit more downforce track, so I guess our car should be better there. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you enjoyed, smash that like button. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.